Hello everyone. Let me talk about a topic called olfaction, or simply the sense of smell. So, before going to the anatomy of olfactory receptors, let me tell about some facts on this olfaction. A human being can recognize around 10,000 different odors. And to make this possible, a human nose contains around 10 million to 100 million olfactory receptors, and these receptors lie within a region called olfactory epithelium. And the chemicals which has an odor and can stimulate these olfactory receptors are called as odorants. And going to the olfactory receptors, they are first order sensory neurons which are bipolar also, with an exposed knob-shaped dendrite and an axon projecting from the cibriform plate ending in the olfactory bulb. And these olfactory hairs and cilia, they are also a part of these olfactory receptors that respond to the inhaled chemicals. And these receptors respond to the chemical stimulation of an odorant molecule by producing a generator potential, thus initiating the olfactory response. And coming to the basic cells involved in the olfactory epithelium, they are called the basal cells, supporting cells, and olfactory glands. And coming to the supporting cells, they are columnar epithelial cells of the mucous membrane lining the nose. They provide physical support, nourishment, and electrical insulation for the olfactory receptors. And they also help to detoxify the chemicals that come into contact with the olfactory epithelium. And coming to the basal cells, they are stem cells located between the bases of these supporting cells. And they continually undergo rapid cell division to produce new olfactory receptors so that it can be replaced before the lost one. And coming to the olfactory glands, they are also called as Bowman's glands and are seen within the connective tissue that supports the olfactory epithelium and produce mucus that is carried out to the epithelium through the ducts. And the function of these Bowman's gland is to produce the mucus, and this mucus moistens the surface of this olfactory epithelium and also helps to dissolve the odorants so that signal transduction can occur. And both the supporting cells and this Bowman's gland or the olfactory glands are innervated by facial nerve 7, which can be stimulated by certain chemicals. And impulses in these nerves in turn stimulate the lacrimal glands in the eye and the nasal glands of the mucous epithelium. And the result is that we produce tears and have a running nose after inhaling substances such as pepper or inhaling vapors of household ammonia. And going to the physiology of olfaction, the ability to recognize around 10,000 different odors depends on the patterns of activities in our brain that arise from the activation of a combination of different olfactory receptors. And these olfactory receptors react to odorant molecules in the same way as the most of the sensory receptors do with their specific stimuli. All these receptors produce a generator potential which develops and triggers one or more nerve impulses. And odorant binds to an olfactory receptor protein in the plasma membrane of an olfactory hair, and the olfactory receptor protein is seen coupled to a membrane protein called G protein, which is in turn activating the enzyme called adenylate cyclase. And the process goes like this. It results in the production of cyclic AMP, which result in the opening of the sodium ion channels, will result in the inflow of the sodium ions through the sodium channels. Depolarization occurs and generation of nerve impulse and propagation along the axon of the olfactory receptor take place. And this is a picture showing what I said earlier. The olfactory receptor protein embedded in the plasma membrane of the olfactory hair cell, and the odorant molecules comes to bind to the receptor protein, and the G protein gets activated, adenyl cyclase enzyme get activated, result in the production of cyclic AMP, which acts on the sodium channels. Sodium ion channels get opened. Influx of sodium ion causes depolarizing generator potential. Depolarization of the olfactory receptor cell membrane triggers an action potential. Coming to order, thresholds and adaptation. Like olfaction, all other special senses has a low threshold. For example, methyl mercaptone. It has a smell of rotten cabbage and it can be detected even in very minute concentration, that is even 1 by 25th of a million per billionth of a milligram ml of air. And because of this property, we are adding this methyl mercaptone to natural gases such as cooking gas, so that it will give a potential olfactory warning intimating us the leakage of these gases. And coming to the olfactory pathway, on each side of our nose, there are around 40 bundles of olfactory receptors, which are slender, unmyelinated axons of olfactory receptors, and they extend to around 20 foramina in the cibriform plate of the ethmoid bone. And these 40 or so bundles, they are collectively together called as the right and left olfactory nerve or the first cranial nerve. And these olfactory nerves terminate in the brain in paired masses of grey matter called the olfactory bulbs. And within the olfactory bulbs, the axon terminals of the olfactory receptors form synapses with the dendrites and cell bodies of the olfactory bulb neurons in the olfactory pathway. This is the diagram showing the olfactory pathway, and axons of these bulb neurons, olfactory bulb neurons, they extend posteriorly and form the olfactory tract. And some of the axons of these olfactory tract project to the primary olfactory area in the cerebral cortex of the brain, which is located at the inferior and the medial surface of the temporal bone. And it is this primary olfactory area in the brain is the region where conscious awareness of smell begins. And from the olfactory area, the pathways may also extend to the frontal lobe. And it is an important region for identification and discrimination of smell. And it lies in the orbitofrontal area. Thank you.